G'day guys, Ronny Dahl, Four Wheeling Australia. 5 simple tips every four-wheel driver should know. Do you know them? Let's find out. Let's push all the obvious stuff aside because we're not talking about that today. All the tyre pressures and lowering the tyres and all those kind of things, we're pushing that aside because we're focusing on these 5 simple tips that are going to help you off-road in many more ways than just one. Four-wheel driving is definitely skill-based. Now with this first tip, you may have actually been doing this before without even realising, and that is throttle control with your foot using the footwell or the kick panel. Let's call it a kick panel actually. All right, you're driving along and you get up to this rocky section, bumpy as hell. Jam your foot up against the side kick panel, squeeze, using the friction to control your foot. Just as simple as that. A lot of you might be doing this without even realizing. When you start hitting rocks, you're starting to bump around and the vehicle's surging. Yeah, you don't want that. Jam it up against the footwell, give it a nice controlled squeeze. If you didn't know about this, you are going to improve your skills tenfold. There are ways you can improve this even more, believe it or not. So you're still using your foot up against the side kick panel. On top of that, say you have more of a modern vehicle, not as basic as this old beast here, and you have what's called eco mode, normal mode, power mode. Do not use power mode, do not use normal mode, switch to eco mode, especially when you want some slow and steady stuff. Combine that with your foot on the side kick panel, perfect. The other way you can do it as well, if you have one of those throttle manipulators or throttle controllers, they're actually called as well. So you plug into your vehicle, all it does is it manipulates your pedal. Most of these should have a 0 normal setting, that is your factory pedal. When you dial it up, you get more out of your pedal by squeezing it less, and when you dial it down, you got to squeeze your pedal a lot more to get more out of it. That is also another very good option. So if you have one of those cheap throttle controllers in your vehicle, aftermarket ones, dial it right down, give it a go with your kick panel, and you're going to get some pretty sweet control on that as well. Chip tuning, which I have, I'll show you how I do that. So tune 1 is my daily driver. It's for the highway, it's high power. If I want power, boom, I get it on the pedal and through the motor. But if I'm going off-road, I'll go to 5. Number 5 is my stock tune, and way better, way smoother off-road. Combine that with jamming my foot up against the side kick panel, sweet as. Smooth as, I should say, smooth as. Using your gears more. And what I mean by that is just use your gears more, especially in an automatic. People who have automatic vehicles are reluctant to use their gears because they're used to just cruising and drive. If you use your gears more off-road, you're going to become a better driver. You're going to understand your vehicle's capabilities and your vehicle's behavior a lot more as well. Using your gears more in particular for automatics, you're going to control your descents a lot better because if you lock it into second or first low, you'll be able to control how fast your vehicle is going down a hill by using engine braking. And the only way to do engine braking is to use first gear low or second gear and lock it in there. And the same goes for manual vehicles. It's the same when you go up a sand dune as well, in particular with automatics, because if you leave it in drive, some vehicles will just keep trying to skip up in gears, and when you're going up a hill and you're at that threshold of you can't back off, you can't go to a higher gear, but your vehicle decides I'm going to go in a higher gear, that's what's going to screw you going over that dune. Manual vehicles, you can keep it in a gear and go over, so that is an advantage. However, manual vehicles, sometimes you need to get that quick snap it back into third, second gear kind of skill to get over the top of a dune sometimes because you just run out of steam in that particular gear. The more you use your gears, the more you understand different obstacles, how your vehicle is going to behave when you hold certain gears. And I'm not just talking about first, second, fourth and fifth or however many gears you have, I'm also talking about high range and low range. Don't be afraid or worried about going from high to low range to high range to low range because I'll often change. If I get to a section and I know it's sort of going to be bumpy and stuff like that, I know that my vehicle's going to behave better in certain gears, whether it's high range, low range, or first, second, third, or fourth gear. Play around and eventually you'll work out exactly what suits your vehicle best and your driver style as well, because it's not just always about your vehicle, it's also about your driving style. And I guarantee you, the more you change and play around with gears, the more you're going to perfect and change your own driving style. You end up driving completely different to what you are right now, especially for people who are new to this stuff. Others who have been doing it for quite a while, you'll probably pick up a thing or two,
but you're probably going to keep your driving style pretty similar.
Some sand dunes require low range up to 4 low to get over, and some require high range up to first, second gear to get over. So experiment with your gears. You'll become a better driver. You'll understand your vehicle a lot more. So you can combine those and you'll be surprised what you can come up with. In some situations where you'd normally be in second gear low and you're trying to control that throttle, try fourth gear low. You'll be surprised. Yeah, fourth gear may not seem like the correct gear to be in, but when you try it on the rough stuff, when you're getting tossed around a bit, you'll be surprised, especially in a diesel vehicle. Play around with your gears, have a bit of fun, and you'll become a better driver. This one's going to seem a little bit odd to start with. I'm going to talk about your valve caps that sit on top of your valve core and protects it. That's exactly what they do, and that's why you need to make sure that you have spare ones of these maybe, or just don't lose the ones you have. Because the minute you lose these and you go through mud, sand or dirt, mud being the worst, sand being second worst, and dirt being bad as well, it will get in here, and then when you go to air up your tires, you're forcing that dirt past your valve core. Now some of that dirt will get caught in your valve core. This piece here is the valve core. Now that red bit is the rubber, and that's where the dirt gets caught. So this is an old one that I've replaced. It just gets stuck in that rubber piece. What happens then is you're driving around and you have a slow leak, even if you put these back on. Now these will prevent some minor little air leaks through your valve core, but not that much, because you get a good seal with the plastic to rubber on here. But once you've left these off and you've done a trip, you may need to replace all your valve cores. This here is a tire stem. That's what sits inside your rim, that bit there. In there is where the valve core lives. Now if you need to replace one of those, this is a tool that you need. It's got that slot there which marries up to that, and that's how it unscrews this bit out. Now I always drive around with a whole bunch of these spare, and just to show you I don't muck around, that's the spares that I bring with me, because it happens so often. And obviously I frequently four-wheel drive, so there's always someone who needs a spare one. Usually it's me. Last trip we did, I left all 4 of them off. They were in my pocket. What an idiot, eh? I had to change every single one. These little superhero caps here, keep them on, guys, keep them on. Guys, before we get to number 4, just while you got your phone out, just hit that subscribe button there and the thumbs up button, because it tells other people that this is good content and people are going to learn stuff from it. So if you're learning stuff from it, if you join the content, you know what to do. Let's get to number 4. Warming up and cooling down your four-wheel drive. Now probably not the way you think I mean this. Say you've just left camp and you're in the bush and you're hitting the tracks again. You might want to let your vehicle warm up a bit. I'm not just talking about the engine, I'm talking about the driveline, I'm talking about all the fluids and all those things with your vehicle so it gets up to operational temperature. If your vehicle hasn't warmed up to operating temperature, you're going to stress it more. So this is more to do with, like, you're on a big trip at the Simpson Desert, the Canningsock Road, the Ambador Highway, somewhere where there's a lot of sand dunes. You drive all day, you pull over, you camp, next day you hop in your car, off you go again.
And just to clarify, I don't mean you can't just drive your car straight away. It's just don't give it a hard time straight away. I'm driving right now. I've been parked up for a number of hours. Operating temperature is not quite there. It's fine. I'm not giving my vehicle a hard time. That's the main thing.
Then we got the opposite side of the scale, cooling down. This is more to do with crossing cold water. Say you've been driving for quite a while, your vehicle's quite hot, you pull up to a river crossing, and instead of just going hell for leather going through it and splashing water everywhere, it's not a good idea to do that. If you have an extremely hot differential or hubs and you're going straight into water, that is when it's more likely going to suck through the seals. You're going to stress the seals. Now, where water can get in, your wheel bearings, your diff seals, also all your pulley bearings and stuff inside the engine bay, that gets a splash of water on it when it's really hot, it's likely to suck that water in. Just pull up, assess the river crossing first, or even if it's a big bog hole or whatever it is, just check it out before you just drive in with a hot vehicle.
And I'm not saying that every single little water hole or little puddle you should stop for and let your vehicle cool down. No. These are the ones that are, knee height, knee deep. Those are the ones you got to be careful about. And if you're pressed for time and you know you can drive through it, fine, just do it. Just don't hit it really hard, because when you hit it really hard, that's when you're forcing all this water up in places where it can possibly get sucked in because the vehicle's really hot and the water's really cold.
Number 5, and I've left this for last for good reason. Now, full driving is not cheap. You got fuel, you got damage, you got maintenance, time away from work. It all adds up. Vehicles are not cheap to maintain. Vehicles are not cheap to keep. They're not cheap to run, especially when you go off-roading. So every time you finish a trip, as soon as you can, wash the vehicle and check the vehicle over. Mud in particular is corrosive. It can draw grease out of grease points, moisture out. It can stress seals. It can dry things up. It can throw your wheel balance out. It can screw your brakes up. You could easily be up for $1,000, even more, after a trip just in mud because you didn't wash the vehicle straight away. I shouldn't have to tell you about seawater and salt lake mud are some of the worst things you can put your vehicle through. If you do that as soon as possible, ASAP, wash that vehicle. Now there's a whole video I've done just on washing your vehicle, and there's also another whole video I've done on mud, what it can do to your vehicle, and also how to treat mud holes and bog holes and your vehicle before you go through them. I highly recommend you check those 2 videos out there and whatever else YouTube is recommending. And if you like the video, guys, thumbs up, subscribe. See you guys next time.